I'm Miss Sarah, and this is At Home Makerspace, where every week I show you how to make fun projects with things you can find at home. This week I'll be sharing a favorite winter activity, making paper snowflakes. You'll need some thin paper like computer paper or a coffee filter, a pair of scissors, and possibly a pencil. Paper snowflakes are very easy to make, and the results can be small and simple or fun and fancy. Here's how you make them. The first thing you'll need to do is fold your paper. Now, you can fold your paper different ways to make different kinds of snowflakes. For example, you can fold your paper one way to make a four-sided snowflake, and you can fold it a different way to make a six-sided snowflake. And you can fold it yet another way to make an eight-sided snowflake. So I'll start by showing you how to fold your paper to make a four-sided snowflake. If you're using a rectangular piece of paper, the first thing you'll need to do is make it into a square. You can do this by folding your paper to make a triangle shape like so, and then we're going to grab our scissors and cut off this extra bit. If you're using paper that's already square, like origami paper, or something round, like a coffee filter, obviously you can skip this step. All right, so now I have my square. So I'm going to start with my square of paper and fold it in half to form a rectangle. Now I'm going to fold it in half again to form a square. And finally, I'm going to fold that square into a triangle using the fold line from earlier. Now it's ready to cut into a four-sided snowflake. Next, I'll show you how to fold a six-sided snowflake. And this is actually my favorite snowflake to fold because real snowflakes actually have six sides. If you're interested in learning why, be sure to check out the link in the description. To fold a six-sided snowflake, start with a square of paper, then fold it into a triangle. Then fold that triangle in half to make a smaller triangle. Now comes the tricky part. I'm going to want to fold this triangle into thirds. So I'm going to grab one side and fold it up. It may take a few tries to get everything lined up, but basically you want this new triangle I've folded on the right to be the same size as the little triangle formed on the left, so I can bring that triangle over and end up with something that all lines up. So the last thing I'm going to do is turn it over and cut across this straight line. And with that, it is folded and ready to make into a snowflake. And finally, here's how you fold an eight-sided snowflake. Once again, I'm going to start with a square of paper, then fold it in half to form a rectangle. Now I'm going to fold that rectangle in half to form a square. Like the four-sided snowflake, I'm going to fold that square in half to form a triangle. Now to turn it into an eight-sided snowflake, I'm going to take this corner of my triangle and fold it in half like so. We have a lot of layers of paper now, so it may take a little extra effort to crease. Now cut across this straight line here, and our snowflake is ready to cut. Once your paper is folded, it's time to cut it into a snowflake. But before I show you, I have a couple of quick tips. First, cutting snowflakes works best with clean, sharp scissors. If your scissors have blades that are a bit sticky, then you or a grown-up may wish to clean them before you start cutting your snowflakes. Also, if your scissors are a bit dull, I would recommend folding your paper into a four-sided snowflake because there'll be less layers to cut through and it'll be easier to do with duller scissors. Now, on to the cutting. So part of the fun of a paper snowflake is that there are so many different ways to cut one. But here are a few tips I can offer. First, I like to round off the top of my triangle so I end up with more of a circle when I open it. You'll want to do cuts along all of the sides. So here I am cutting a big piece off the side. Another fun technique is to cut a series of long, narrow triangles out of the side. And you'll want to leave some strips between these triangles. It's almost like little ribs, and the effect is really cool. You'll see it when I open it up. If you want a hole in the middle of your snowflake, cut the tip off here. You can do round or a triangle shape like I just did here. There we go. And now I'm just going to keep cutting along the other side. Now, when I'm cutting on the side, I need to remember that whatever shape I cut out, the final snowflake will be sort of that shape plus its mirror image. So here I'm going to be cutting a curved shape. And when I actually open it up, this curve will be more of an X shape. Another thing you might want to be thinking about as you're cutting your snowflake is that the more you cut out, the more detailed your snowflake will look. And kind of a rule of thumb, which is literally a rule of thumb for me, is that I want to leave bits of paper that are no thicker than my thumb. So here I have a big space in the middle. And in order to cut that space, I'm actually going to fold my snowflake over a little bit so that I can start a cut that can be in this place. I wouldn't normally be able to reach my scissors. So now that I've started the cut, I can go ahead and finish it off with whatever shape I like, making sure to take enough out of the middle that my leftover paper is no wider than my thumb. I also want to be careful here that I'm only cutting a hole out of the middle. I don't want to accidentally cut through to the outside of my snowflake. So the last thing I need to do is open up my snowflake and we'll see what I have managed to create. Remember, this should be a four-sided snowflake, so the same shape should repeat 4 times. Ta-da! I used the same techniques to cut out my 6-sided snowflake, and here is what it looks like. And the same techniques on yet another snowflake, this time my 8-sided snowflake, created this pattern, which I think ended up being my favorite of all the snowflakes that I cut. And finally, here is a trick if your snowflake doesn't lie flat. Go ahead and grab a large book, like a dictionary. Open it up and place your snowflake inside. After a little while, your snowflake should be pressed flat. Now that you know how to fold and cut a paper snowflake, you can have fun experimenting with different variations. For example, you could try cutting a paper snowflake out of a coffee filter. Now, since a coffee filter is round, it's a little bit different, so here's how you do it. Now I'm going to be folding a six-sided snowflake, so start by folding it in half and then into quarters, then fold that quarter into thirds. And now I'm just going to cut the coffee filter the way I did my other snowflakes. And when I'm done cutting, my snowflake looks like this. You can also experiment with your snowflake's size by making really big snowflakes or really small snowflakes. I like to make mini snowflakes out of my paper scraps, so here I am cutting a square out of some leftover paper, and I'm going to go ahead and fold this one into quarters. Then fold that square into a triangle to make a four-sided snowflake. Because it is such a small piece of paper, you don't want to fold it too many times or it'll be really hard to cut. So I like to do a four-sided snowflake at this size. And now I'm just going to cut like I've done with my other snowflakes, and when I open it up, I have a mini snowflake. You can use mini snowflakes to make cards or art projects such as a snowman. And finally, here's how to design, fold, and cut your own fancy paper snowflakes. Here's how I made this snowman snowflake. If you want to make a snowflake with a fancy design, you might want to sketch your design out first with a pencil. So here I'm sketching out a snowman design. And one thing you should notice is that I am only drawing half of my snowman, and I'm drawing it on that edge because when I unfold it, that half snowman will mirror image and become a full snowman. If sketching your own design feels a bit tricky, I'll also be including links to some templates. And once I've cut everything out, it's time to unfold the snowflake and see what we've created. Isn't that cool? And here's how I made a snowflake out of my name. When making a name snowflake, you really want to pay attention to which corner will be the middle of your snowflake and which will be the outside edge. You'll want the first letter of your name to be along the outside edge and the last letter of your name to be towards the middle. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and sketch out my name, Sarah, and I'm making sure that all of my letters touch in at least one place. So all of my letters are connected together. And after it's cut, it'll look like this. Notice that I did leave the little holes in the A's because they were a little too small for me to cut. And now I'm going to unfold everything, and here is my name snowflake. One of my favorite things about paper snowflakes is that, like real snowflakes, they come in all sorts of designs. So, here are some additional snowflakes that were made by library staff and members of the Tween Interest Group. Enjoy! We hope you enjoyed learning how to make your own paper snowflakes. If you do make a snowflake, we'd love to see it, so please take a picture and share it with us at the library. You can do so through our Facebook at www.facebook.com/FHCPL, through our Instagram. Our handle is at FHCPL, or you can send us an email. Our email address is makerspace@findlaylibrary.org. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to join us next week, where we'll be learning even more about snow and snowflakes. Hope to see you there. Bye!